Good morning. Good morning to you. You live in a shoe. How are you guys doing today? Well, I have been running around the house, cleaning and doing stuff. I'm getting ready to go through the Starbucks. I just ordered my Starbucks for the day. Hold on a second. Just gonna tip over.
3.3 for your total. Is that your receipt?
No, I'm good.
All right.
Thank you. Have a good one. All right, so I got my coffee for the day. It is freezing. It is 22 degrees outside. It is snowing. It's like pretty snow. It's like, I don't know if there's like a good place to show you because you can't really see it from anywhere, but it's just kind of like lightly falling. Alex knows a red Jeep 4-door Wrangler. Alex knows that I love it when it snows like this because it reminds me of the beginning scene to Charlie Brown's, you know, when they're like that, oh, don't do this today, that Christmas time is here, you know, that part. So he texted me and he was like, it's snowing outside, but it was snowing where he was at, but it wasn't snowing where I was at yet, which was funny because then I took the dogs outside and then it started snowing. I was like, oh, it's snowing. So pretty. So I guess we're not gonna have 50-degree weather all winter. It is very, very cold outside today. And I'm gonna try to vlog throughout the day. I don't really have a whole lot to do today. I actually heard from the car place today. They started working, oh, thank God, on my car. But they have to order some part for my air conditioner. So they can't complete that until that piece comes in. So it's not, they won't even get that possibly until the early next week is what they said. I'm like, this is like ridiculous at this point. So anyway, but whatever. And it is what it is, right? So I'm going right now to run a few errands, and then I am going to come home and I'm going to take a shower and film a few videos. And then I may do a live stream tonight. I don't know. Alex, this is his friend that he works with on Wednesday nights. He hasn't seen her since before Christmas. So I'm assuming that they'll go out to dinner or something tonight because they usually do on Wednesday nights anyway. And I haven't, or he hasn't seen her since before Christmas. So that I'm sure they'll do something tonight. But anyway, so I'm going to go home, do all that kind of stuff. I was cleaning up the house a little bit earlier. My personal trainer was texting me about like our next appointment, and I was like, let's just keep it for Monday, next Monday. I'm sure I'll feel 100% by then. So my cough is still like not great. I feel a lot better. I just have this cough. I'm almost done actually with this audiobook that I've been listening to. One of Us is Lying by Karen McManus. It is really, really good. I wouldn't say it's like the best, you know, it's not so incredibly good that I have to talk about it forever, but it is good. It's entertaining. It kind of goes back and forth between 4 different characters. So I'm kind of just ready to find out the end of it, honestly. I'm like 2 hours from the end, less than 2 hours from the end. I'm ready to, I listened to it really quick. I'm ready to kind of find out the end of it and then move on to the next book. I don't know which one. I need to either get started on the next Harry Potter book or The Stranger Beside Us, which is this month's book club pick for true crime. I think I'm going to listen to that next. Because on the 24th on Netflix, I think it's on Netflix that Mel texted me, there is a movie coming out about Ted Bundy, which is what The Stranger Beside Me is about, by Ann Rule. If you don't know, like, we're doing, on Peter's Book Club, we're doing a year of true crime books. And so this month we're reading The Stranger Beside Me. But one of the things that Mel and I decided was that we don't want to just make it like a book club. Like, we want to make it like real educational as well. Because last year, like, when we read I'll Be Gone in the Dark, One Woman's Obsessive Search for the Golden State Killer by Michelle McNamara, And then I ended up listening at the end of the year to Evil Has a Name by Paul Holes, the investigator. But I had also listened to like my favorite murder broadcast or podcast. I had read all these articles. She and I both had. We talked a lot about it. And I felt like it was just kind of this common theme of like, I just talked about this with like everybody, right? And so one of the things that we agreed to was that we were going to keep a thread open on the book club on Goodreads. So if you're on Goodreads, go friend me. I accept everybody's friendship. Friendship. It's all about friendship. On Goodreads. I love Goodreads so much. But anyway, that we were going to have a thread over there open to like any resources that came out, like this is a movie or this podcast you should listen to or whatever, because the conversation goes above and beyond just the book, which is interesting, I think, you know. The other thing that we agreed on was that if like some huge like true crime book should come out this year, we're thinking that we would, because I think the guy that wrote Columbine, I think his name is Dave Collins, he has another one coming out this year and we don't know what it's about, but supposedly. If you know what it's about, let me know in the comment section below. So if some huge true crime book would come out this year, we're gonna read it. But the rest of them are books that have been around for a while. So yeah, I need to get started on that. I'll probably listen to that next and then end the month with Harry Potter on Audible. The next Harry Potter book is so long. I think I already bought it. It's The Order of the Phoenix. The thing is that there's all these Audible books that I want to listen to that are like short, like this one and Sadie, that were like only, you know, like 5-10 minutes long. Not 5-10 minutes. That like, they're like 5 to 10 hours long and 5-10 minute books. Can you imagine? I'm sure there are 5 or 10 minute books on Audible, but 5 to 10 hour books on, you know, and there's tons of them. Like I want to listen to the new Hank Green book. I might actually listen to that before I listen to I'll Be Gone in the Dark. Oh, ouch. Because there's like, how many weeks? There's like 3.5 weeks left of January. I'm like all over the place. I haven't had my coffee yet. I just said before I read I'll Be Gone in the Dark. Before I read The Stranger Beside Me. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do that actually next. So Hank Green is the brother of John Green, and now you can truly see how my thinking works. And he has his first debut novel out that came out, and so I think I'll read that. It's not too long. When I say 5 to 10 hours, here's the thing. So like, if a book on Audible is listed at like 10 or 11 hours. I listen to it from anywhere between like 1.75 and 2 times speed, which means that like if it's a 10-hour book, I can listen to it in 5 hours. I listen to books, I can listen really fast and retain information really fast. So I typically listen to books 2 times as fast. Now with like the Harry Potter books and stuff, it's hard because of the English accent. Like sometimes I don't catch what they're talking about, and so I have to listen to it at a slower speed. So it takes me a long time to listen, and those books are literally like 23 hours long. I think Goblet of Fire was like 22 hours and 50 minutes long, so I can't listen. I still listen to it faster, but I can't listen to it like at 2 times speed. Or I find myself rewinding it a lot. Sadie, I had a hard time listening to really fast too. The one I just listened to. It's so funny because there's this Indiana Wedding Expo sign up here on this billboard here. I know as soon as I turn it around you won't be able to see it, but can you see it up there? I don't know if you can see it in the long distance, but in the corner there's a woman where it says Indiana. Do you see her up there? Why does she remind me of Valentina from RuPaul's Drag Race? I don't know. Oh, Peter. Oh, hi. How are you today? But Sadie had like a cast of characters, and so I really struggled with like keeping up with it, because like as I'd be listening to it at 2 times speed, and then it would change a character and their voice would change, and it kind of threw me off, and so I would have to like rewind it on the thing. I have like a different lotion on today, and I don't know that I like it. Do you ever do that? Like where you have like, you try a new lotion or a new product and you're like, do I like that? Do I not like that? Yeah. So I can't look at her up there. It's cracking me up. Anyway, gray and gloomy Indiana skies. All right, I'm gonna get off here and go run my errands, and I will be back a little bit later. Bye. All right, I'm back. I was gonna vlog throughout the whole day, and it's gotten like, I have a new little scarf on that I don't ever wear. I mean, it's not new, I've had it forever, but anyway, I've been doing so much stuff that I just was gonna vlog in between it, and then I kind of forgot. So, I went home and I filmed videos for all my channels except for my review channel, because what I wanted to review, I realized, is a breakfast item from a food place. And then I was gonna review an item that I had at home, but I was like, I'll just do it tomorrow. It was getting late. And I wanted to return this stuff that I had bought. So, I went to Urban Outfitters and I returned this shirt that I had bought because I ended up wearing the turtleneck that I already had. So I returned that to Urban Outfitters and I ended up buying, well, I bought about, I'm thinking about maybe doing a haul tomorrow on my Peter Monn channel. I know it's kind of corny, but I used to love to watch hauls back in the day, so I may do a haul video on that channel. But I bought some stuff at Urban Outfitters. I actually went through the line and I bought something. I went 3 times through the line. I went the first time to return the item. I went the second time to buy this bag. And then I went the third time because as I was walking out the door, I saw 2 things that I wanted. So that was kind of Urban Outfitters. And then I left and Alex went out to dinner tonight with his friend. And well, he said he wasn't going to eat dinner. He was going to have an appetizer, he said, because he had eaten late in the day. And that was probably at like, well, I guess it wasn't too long ago. That was probably an hour ago. Because it's 8:47 right now. And he didn't leave work until like 7:15, 7:30. So then after that, I went to Macy's to return some stuff. And I hate returning stuff, just so you know, like, please don't slide. If I buy something and I end up like not wearing it or not liking it, I rarely ever return it. I just usually keep it and think, well, at some point I'll wear it. But tonight I returned the sweater. So I didn't buy anything else at Macy's, walked on out. But I had in Edinburgh, when I went down there for Black Friday shopping, the outlet mall, I had bought this Champion fanny pack and they had left a sensor on it. I think I've talked about this on here. So I took it to the finish line here in the mall and the mall was dead. Very rarely do I ever go to the mall and just like walk around, and I kind of walked around a little bit tonight, which was dangerous because there's some stores in there that I could spend some money in. So I went into the finish line. Did my groceries just go all over the place? Yes. Which I wouldn't care, except for that. One of them's a soup. One of them's a piece of pizza. I'm gonna talk about that in just a second. I just went to Whole Foods and got my dinner. So I went in kind of a hearty meal tonight. But anyway, I went to Finish Line and to have them take the sensor off, which was, it's been sitting literally in my kitchen on this chair since Black Friday, and so what, the day after Thanksgiving, and I haven't done anything with it. I keep on thinking I'm gonna take it there. Well, I took it there and it took 2 seconds for them to take the sensor off. The girl that worked there was so nice, and I ended up buying, okay, I have no business going into the Finish Line. They have really cute stuff, and I just don't shop very often. And today I was kind of in the mood to shop a little bit. I wanted to make it to Ulta, so I think I'm gonna go to Ulta tomorrow. But anyway, I bought some stuff at the Finish Line and then I left. And I went to Whole Foods and I got wild mushroom vegetarian soup, cornbread, a piece of vegetarian pizza, and orange juice. And this peanut butter little deal for dessert. A little peanut butter thing. I was craving peanut butter. So I wanted something kind of like a hearty meal to make me feel good. And I thought, like, some soup would probably be better. I feel a lot better today, but I thought to have something like that would make me feel a little bit better. So, yeah, that's what I got. That was my day. And it's been a good day. It's been just kind of like low-key and relaxing, So anyway, and then I talked to my friend Valerie for a long time on the phone tonight, and we talked about maybe meeting up at the casino later, but not definitely. I'm not going to go unless she goes. I'll just go to see her. So we talked about like maybe going and not taking a lot of money and just kind of sitting there and talking a little bit and whatever. But anyway, we're supposed to get all this snow supposedly, but it's been like flurries, but not really a whole lot of snow outside. I mean, there's a little bit of dusting on the grass and stuff, but other than that, like it's cold enough to stick. It's 20 degrees outside right now. I'm almost done. I've been listening. Oh, that's what I've been doing today instead of vlogging. Oh my God, my battery's about to die on this thing. I have been listening to my audiobook all day today. So I'm like, I've got like an hour of it left, I think, something like that. So I'm gonna finish that tonight, and then I'm gonna start probably the book club book tomorrow. Or I might read one in between there. I have so many books that I want to read, so I may read a book in between there. There's an ambulance coming. Hold on. It's still crazy to me people don't get over when ambulances and police cars come by and stuff like that. And that people don't also know that if a police has pulled somebody over, you can't be in that lane that's driving past that. Do you know that? So you have to be like a lane over from that. So anyway, yeah, that's about it. It's really cold. It feels very wintry in Indiana today. I don't necessarily hate it, you know? It's like, but I am very excited for our trip in March. And, because I was like, everything I was buying today, I was thinking about our trip, going to Ultra and then, you know, going to Mexico. So I'm really excited about that. And then I talked to my trainer today and we rescheduled my appointment. I finally got a hold of him. Yeah, so it's been a good day so far. It's been just kind of like relaxing and stuff and just kind of hanging out with the dogs at home. Alex will be home in just a little bit and we'll kind of hang out and relax. He usually goes to bed early on Wednesday nights, so. All right, you guys, I'm gonna get off here. The battery is about to die anyway. I need to go home and charge it. So I will be back in just a little while after I eat dinner. Bye. Hello. Okay, I'm back. I've eaten. I hung out with my husband for a while when he got home. He got home right after I did. I ate and we talked and I watched a little bit of The Innocent Man. I just finished the 4th episode. So I think I have 2 episodes left. I think it's 6 episodes total. And now I'm vlogging. Texted Valerie, haven't heard from her yet. I'm not gonna go to the casino if she's not gonna be up there. So now I'm just gonna vlog for a little bit. I am actually gonna stop and get some water or a cup of coffee in a second though, because I want to listen to the rest of my audiobook tonight and get it done. It is 12:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. How are y'all doing out there, radio people? I used to want to have a radio show when I was a little kid. There was this television show. Do you guys remember? It was called like Midnight Caller or something. And I used to watch it when it was on. It wasn't on for very many seasons. It was on for like 1 or 2 seasons. I mean, it was really bad. But okay, so let me just tell you, my food tonight from Whole Foods was so good. It was exactly what I needed tonight. It was some soup and cornbread. It was delicious. And, yeah. So yummy in my tummy. No, but really, it was good. I don't eat soup very often. I kind of go through phases where, like, I eat... Like, there was a phase on here when I was eating it, like, every night from Whole Foods. That Whole Foods deli area is very dangerous for me because all of their food is good and they have a lot of vegetarian options, but it's expensive. Like, Whole Foods is very expensive. What somebody told me one time, what do they call it? Like whole paycheck or something like that. It is. It's really expensive. So, yep. And then Alex is going to bed right now. Oh, ouch. He has an early day tomorrow. So, now I'm vlogging. Oh. There you go. Have you guys watched The Innocent Man on Netflix? It's Netflix. Can you imagine if that was what it was called? Netflix. It's very interesting. tell you one of the things that's interesting to me about these shows, like the confession tapes and making of a murderer and The Innocent Man, is that, I'm gonna sneeze, or I thought I was, is all of these false confessions. And I've talked about this on here before, but like, as somebody that like loves true crime and stuff, it's very interesting to me. And the other thing is that one of the things that consistently comes up is these false confessions based on dreams. And it's interesting because all of these confessions are kind of around the same time period, like in US history. Like, it's not like some of them are in like the 20s and the others are like, you know, in 2010. It's like they're all roughly within the same 10 to 15 year time span. And what's interesting about that is that I'm like trying to think of like the time span. So a lot of the confession tape ones are like in the, there are a lot that are in the 80s. And then An Innocent Man takes place in like the late 80s. I think the first one is killed in 84, and then it's like 87. So, and then the Brennan Dassey and Stephen Avery case is like 96, or I think around that time, something like that. Or was it later than that? Does the Stephen Avery case just happen not too long ago, maybe? So anyway, the second Stephen Avery case happened not too long ago, but it's really interesting when you look at that time period, right? And this idea of, did it come from a dream, that is supposedly like pushed by a lot of the police officers. Like, here's where we're getting into some conspiracy theory stuff, right? But a lot of these police officers that are supposedly like pushing them to make these confessions, like when you watch these movies, documentaries, like if you believe in basically what they're saying is they were coerced into giving false confessions, but they were coerced by the police basically to give them false confessions. Well, they all give false confessions based on like dreams they had. Like, well, I had a dream that I did this, this, and this, and this, and then I reported this dream, and then they eventually said, well, what if it wasn't really a dream? What if that was like really what you did? Or like, well, what if it was a dream? Like, if you had a dream doing this, what would your dream be? And what it makes you wonder almost was this like a tactic that they were being taught at the time? Like, it cannot be a coincidence that all of these cases, and I'm sure like these are just the Netflix ones that we see, you know, that like coincidentally there's several of them that are about a dream. Like, they dreamed up this murder and like that's how they gave their confession. Like, I mean, that just can't be a coincidence, you know? So then it makes you wonder, stupid camera, it makes you wonder, like, was this a police tactic that the police were taught at the time to like get confessions from people? Like, if they wouldn't come up with it on their own, to say like, well, did you if you did it, if you dreamed doing it, like what would that dream have been? And then turn that into that. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems so weird to me. I don't know. The other thing that's weird is like when you watch An Innocent Man, the Innocence Project is part of it. Well, the Innocence Project, I think, are the ones that worked with Eddie Vedder and from Pearl Jam and several other people on freeing the Memphis Three. Is that their name? That were in the Paradise Lost documentary series that killed those kids in Memphis, like Alabama or somewhere. It's not Memphis, Tennessee, but it's like a different Memphis. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? The West Memphis Three, that's what I'm talking about. That like freed them. I watched that documentary years ago, like when I watched the Eileen Wuornos documentary. It's really interesting that all of a sudden like these documentaries are getting so much attention, because like I've watched these for years. Like that very first Paradise Lost documentary, that was on HBO, and I watched that like years and years ago. My ex and I watched that together, like when we first got together. So that's had to be together. That's had to have been around for a while. Oh, she's there. I guess I'm going to the casino. So that was interesting. Well, I'm like a half an hour from there, so I better get my coffee and get on the road. That was interesting. But there was no like, what do you call it? There was no dream state in those. But what's interesting about that case is like that all of a sudden people are talking about that case again, and I'm like, well, those guys are free now. And the last movie was at the Sundance Film Festival and stuff. That whole thing is so strange too. But the Innocence Project, I think, was really involved in that. The Innocence Project is when they try to help get exonerations for people that are in prison but didn't. I mean, you guys, if you have not watched The Innocent Man, just let me tell you, this one guy, 5 days from execution for a crime he didn't commit. Like, if you believe the film, which it's all based on DNA. 5 days, I'm not ruining it for you by watching it either. 5 days from execution. Can you even imagine? I mean, that's some scary shit. This is where I have like parts of my mom in me, because I can get real heated about this stuff. And like I was sitting there watching it last night, and Alex is watching some Mexican show. It's like kind of like a telenovela, and he's laughing, and I'm like getting real upset and like almost crying and stuff. Like, he's like, "What are you watching?" And I'm like trying to explain it to him, and it's so interesting. I kind of also, if somebody could fill me in on this, is John Grisham part of the Innocence Project? Is that why he wrote the book originally, or how he got involved maybe with the Innocence Project? Because if you watch the project, if you watch the documentary, he says in there, he was like, he refers to the Innocence Project as we. He was like, well, we try to do this, and we get a lot of letters, and he was talking about how many letters they get, and how they decide on whose case they're going to take to defend on the Innocence Project. It's like, God. And he was talking about how this one guy, like, completely had his file all together, and, like, the letter, like, the reason why they picked him, apparently, is because, like, his case was, like, all, like, he already had it all figured out and everything. Anyway, all of it is so interesting to me, but it makes, you know, like... And one of the things that's interesting, too, is Deborah Sue Carter, who she's, like, one of the victims in The Innocent Man. I know it's The Innocent Man, not An Innocent Man, because I held up my remote, I went, An Innocent Man tonight, and it came up and it was a movie with Tom Selleck. What happened to Tom Selleck? Anybody? Anybody? I used to think he was so hot back in the day. Okay, so anyway, so it's not An Innocent Man, it's The Innocent Man. But, this poor family of Deborah Sue Carter, like, her mom just breaks my heart. And then this, like, cousin of hers, I think is what she is. She becomes, like, real educated on this. And she goes and speaks, like, to the board of the, like the Capital Punishment Board in the state of Oklahoma and stuff like that. I mean, it's really interesting. And that's one of the things that I love about these documentaries, is that they go, like, above and beyond this case. But it's interesting, too, because, like, if you've watched Making a Murderer, a lot of the same things they talk about in Making a Murderer, they talk about in The Confession, or the Innocent Man, like the Brady conviction, what's it called? I can't think of what that's called. Not the Brady conviction, but the Brady something. Two things that they talk about. One is that a murder, like if you're convicted of a murder, right? Or not convicted, but if you're on trial for a murder, you have the right to point the finger towards somebody else. Your defense attorney should do that for you. Like, that's one of your rights, to say, I didn't do it, but it's plausible that Judy Smith did, right? So if your attorney doesn't take that opportunity to do that, like, they're really screwing you. Like, they're really, because that's like one of your only options, is to say, this is another plausible, and like, in Making a Murderer, both of their attorneys don't do that for them, and Kathleen Zellner just goes like crazy. Kathleen Zellner, she is fantastic. Not Kathleen. And then the other thing is that they leave out, okay, I'm gonna get this word wrong, expulsionary evidence. It's when evidence that both parties have a right to know And, like, they left out whole pieces of the confession tapes. Like, they left whole tapes out. The prosecutor didn't give those to the defense. And so the defense didn't have it to use in the case. And it's like, I think it's called, I feel like I want to call it a Brady conviction, but I know that that's not what it's called. But anyway, it's interesting. It's very, very interesting. So what I like about these is it's not just about the case. Now, I will tell you that I Google searched, and I shouldn't have, Tommy Ward and, what's his name? Carl Fontenot, because they're the two that are up for this case that the majority of the rest of the movie is going to be about, or the documentary is going to be about. And so I Googled them, and I shouldn't have, because the first article that came up was like, where are they now? So basically I know the ending of the documentary, but, that's why you don't read articles like that, Peter. Because you find out all the tricks. You find out all the what's going on. But the thing that's interesting is that there's so much more, like, behind the scenes that you find out. It's not just about that case. You find out, like, really about the legal system, you know? And watching both of these are very, very similar. Like, Making of a Murderer and especially the second season and The Innocent Man are very similar. Very, very similar in some ways. And one of the ways they're very similar is in their discussion of the appeals process. And your right to an appeal in this country. And really going in and discussing and educating about, like, there's like 6 police officers just coming down here, like, all of a sudden, like, this is crazy. And there's 2 up here. I can't tell if they're coming this way. Oh my God, there's 3? Something happened. So, that's scary. But I wonder, but it goes in and explains, like, the whole, like, appeals process and, like, how many appeals you have. Making of a Murderer really does this, where it goes in and explains, like, taking it from appeal to appeal to appeal to this court to that court and whatever. And, like, it's interesting, like, this Carl Fontenot, the way that he gets with the Innocence Project is because he can't afford a defense attorney. And so he sees the show, he sees like an episode, it's not like Dateline, but it's something like Dateline, and they're talking about the Innocence Project, so he contacts them because he only gets 1 appeal, and he can't afford an attorney, so he files the appeal in a federal appeals court himself, because he can't afford to hire an attorney. Apparently, like, you only get 1 appeal where they'll give you an attorney, but if you can, I don't know, if you can hire an attorney, you can take it all the way up. And then it makes you wonder, like, well, how does an attorney decide, like, an attorney that takes pro bono cases? I don't know, if you're an attorney out there that does this, I'd be interested to know. I'm sure there are just so many attorneys that take pro bono exoneration cases watching my vlog on a daily basis. Kathleen Zellner, are you out there watching my vlog? Do you relax watching my vlog? I bet she does, Kathleen Zellner. Absolutely unbelievable. I just don't understand. I would die if I found out she watched my vlog. Oh my God, I would faint a million faints. But anyway, I love her so much. You talk about ASMR. Her voice is totally ASMR to me. I just watch her and I'm like this. I just like eat popcorn. I watch her. I'm like, oh my God, she's fantastic. But anyway, so I don't know, like, how many appeals you get to take it all the way up, I guess, if you have an attorney that will, you know, do all that work for you. But, like, it's so expensive to do that. Like, can you even imagine? I mean, like, when you look at the time and the effort and the work and all this kind of stuff, especially like with Stephen Avery's case and Making of a Murderer, like, how much time and effort he put into, or like his attorneys, Kathleen Zellner, put into, you know, like, buying a car that was the exact same car as the woman that supposedly was murdered by him, and then doing these testing on there and hiring experts. And I mean, you're talking about some money and travel expenses, and I mean, you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars for a case that may not be over for years. Like, you know, you could be talking about $1 million easily. So more than that. When you talk about a team of people working for you, I don't know how that works. Does anybody know how that works? Like, how do they get paid? And I mean, they don't get paid if they win the case unless Stephen Avery sues the county or whatever, but we already know how that went, and he didn't get his money. So I don't know, it's just interesting to me. Because I would also think that, like, if you were spending that much time and energy on a case, you probably couldn't dedicate a whole lot of time. And I gotta stop at this gas station and get something to drink. You probably couldn't, you know, dedicate a whole lot of other time to other cases. Do you think? Like, I mean, I wouldn't think you could. My vlog's not gonna be super long tonight because I want to listen to my audiobook too, but I need to get some water. I was gonna get a coffee, but I think I'm gonna get a water. They're hiring at Thornton's. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. They were playing that song in there. That Colby Calais song, feels like I'm sitting on top of a gold mine. I love that song so much. Anyway, I'm not sitting on top of a gold mine. Not yet. I might be at the casino. Okay. Come on, heat. It smells like snow outside. I don't really know how to explain it any other way than just to say it smells like snow outside. Do I have a bunch of stuff over here that I can throw away? Oh, I do. Hold on just a second. I'll be right back. Yeah, it definitely smells like snow outside. But, you know, this big 4 inches of snow that we were supposed to get, I don't see that happening. Text Valerie. Okay. So the weather still say, does it still say that it's going to snow tonight? Special weather statement until Thursday, 4 a.m. Oh, accumulating snow likely late Friday night into Saturday. A strong storm system is expected to push into the region of late Friday night and bring an accumulating snowfall to central Indiana. Snow accumulations up to 4 inches will be possible by Saturday night. This may result in snow-covered roads as well as difficult driving conditions. Winter weather advisories might be issued. This is still a developing situation. Snow amounts may change in later forecast updates, which probably means we'll end up getting no snow. Today. See, then when you go on here, it shows no snow for Friday. Partly cloudy skies, snow late. But do you remember those temperatures I read on here? It gets much colder now. They sure did change. It's all in the low 30s coming up. So, I guess our warm winter is over. Till Miami. I'm in Miami. Okay. I think it's especially kind of fun to watch those kind of documentaries or to read mysteries and things like that in the wintertime. I don't know why, but I really do. I think it's fun. I think it's kind of, if you're going to watch that stuff, this is the time to watch it. Although I will say this, The Staircase, that documentary I think was very interesting to watch during the summer. I'm somebody that likes to read books and watch shows like kind of when they take place, if that makes sense. But I still think like mysteries and things like that. If you want a good mystery to read in the winter, that book I was talking about the other day, that Alan Eskin's The Life We Bury, oh my God, that book was so good. It was so nerve-wracking to read. But that took place in the winter, and that was really, really good. It was a good book. I mean, one of these books that I just like read out of nowhere and thought it was just like so fantastic. It was so well done. I love when you read a book like that. My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix was kind of like that too. He has a new book out, and I have it on Audible, and I haven't read it yet. I think it's called We Sold Our Souls or something like that. It kind of reminds me of this Joe Hill book, who's Stephen King's son, that I read, Heart-Shaped Box. I didn't love the book. I thought it was it wasn't my thing. I did this like huge book haul today, and I showed like all these graphic novels that I bought. I bought To Kill a Mockingbird. The graphic novel is beautiful. I showed it on my BookTube, so excuse me, if you want to see it, go check out my BookTube channel. It's called like A Very Cool Groovy Book Haul or something like that, or Big Groovy Cool, I don't know, but anyway, it's called something funny like that. And I'm not real great on titles, if you've ever noticed on my videos. I wouldn't say titles are my strong suit. But I got To Kill a Mockingbird, Fight Club 2, I got that at Half Price Books. To Kill a Mockingbird, it just came out last year, it's gorgeous. And then my friend Valerie was actually the one that told me about that. There's that girl up there from Indiana Wedding Expos that looks like Valentina. Hi, Valentina. It doesn't change like it used to change. Can you see her up there? See, like it used to change up there. It was like at times it was like that Butler ad. Or no, it was some college here. And doesn't she kind of look like Valentina? And then it was a Panera ad. It had a soup bowl on it for a long time. Anyway, that Jiffy Lube right there that I was showing you is the one that says that they don't know how to fix anything. But I went in there and they couldn't fix my headlight. But there's a painting on the side, like a mural on the side of the building that's gorgeous. I've thought about going there and taking pictures for my Instagram. Do you ever think about that? Like when you're driving around, you're like, this is like the perfect place to take a picture for my Instagram. But then you never go there. Because really what you need is a friend to take with you and go, can you take my picture in front of this? It's so cool. Okay. When I was in high school, I took photography my junior and senior years, like both semesters. I was so into it. And we would do like all kinds of photo shoots and stuff. Like I remember taking my friends everywhere. I won an award for, I did this photo essay in high school. I had my friends, two of my friends, I was so serious about this too, okay? I was like so serious about like, I did this whole photo essay about well, it was like in 3 parts. And so I did like roles of women in society, okay? And one of them was basically saying that like housework is death. And it was kind of like saying that women that are the ones at home that are doing most of like the housework, they don't get appreciated for it. Did you just see this car pass me on the right, on the, like, what do you call it? The shoulder of an exit, okay? Guess we have places to go. So anyway, but I took my friends, 2 of my friends, we went to Crown Hill Cemetery here in Indianapolis, which is like this beautiful cemetery. There are always people there doing photo shoots and stuff because it's like so scenic out there. I actually, and I have to find the picture of this because Alex and I went there and we did a photo shoot. I'll tell you about that in just a second, but I'll find the picture I was going to talk about because I put it on my Facebook like years ago. But I took my 2 friends out there and I took all of this old-fashioned like equipment, like an old-fashioned vacuum from like the 60s. And then I took like this old ironing board with this old iron and all of these different things like that, and like an old mop and stuff. And then like it would just be like my friend leaning there and she was like ironing on this old ironing board with all these gravestones around her, like these huge, massive, I mean, Crown Hill Cemetery is gorgeous cemetery. Like there are massive monuments, and what do you call them, those, the houses, like the, oh shoot, what are they called? Do you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about, don't you? Anybody that has any kind of big money in Indianapolis is buried at Crown Hill Cemetery. mausoleums is mausoleums. Like, they have family mausoleums out there. There's actually this hill that when you get on this hill, like, you drive up this hill. I should actually drive out there for a vlog. Have I ever driven out there for a vlog? I don't think so. I was like, how about, maybe it's been 2 years. But there's this hill, if you drive up there, I mean, this is kind of arrogant, isn't it? And as you go up the hill, it's like the Lilly family is up there, like from, are they there, or are they buried on their grounds of the art museum? I think they're, but anyway, like the Lilly family and like all these different like really wealthy families in Indianapolis, right? But as you go up the hill, okay, like it kind of builds this crescendo of like this huge mausoleum at the top of this hill. It's like, these are the wealthiest families in Indianapolis. I love you, Mom, but you ain't out there. So anyway. But it is a beautiful, my mom and I used to go around there when I was kids. When I was a kid, we would drive through there. It's gorgeous. It's right next to the art museum. And, I mean, just unbelievably beautiful. And, they do, like, actually, like, tours out there. They do a ghost tour out there. So, I did this photo shoot out there with my friends, and I won an award for it. They did it in all these, like this really, like, strange, like, black and white colors. With kind of like a bluish hue to it. I have like one of them in my basement somewhere. I'll see if I can find it and show it to you. Then Alex and I went out there. I don't even know when that would have been, like 5 or 6 years ago. And we were just doing like photo shoots around Indianapolis of each other. And one of the things about Crown Hill Cemetery is that it has beautiful trees. There are absolutely beautiful trees everywhere. So to just take pictures, like there's a lot of places to take pictures that have absolutely nothing to do with like gravestones and stuff. But I was taking a picture of Alex, and he was kind of like sitting in this tree, and he was kind of like going like this with his arm. Okay, or he's standing by this tree or something, like he's kind of got his arm up. It is so weird, you guys. Like, in the background is like all of these little white gravestones that almost kind of look like military gravestones, you know? Above it is this light, okay? Like, you know, like when you see like orbs in pictures and videos, it looks like that, okay? But it's a cross that kind of looks like a bird. I don't even know how to explain it to you unless I showed you the picture. I'll have to find the picture for you. It's so crazy. Of course, my husband doesn't believe it at all. He's like, why would you think that is, you know, like a spirit or something? I'm like, because we're at a cemetery and there's a strange light. It's not an orb, okay? It's not just some weird orb that's like a piece of lint in the background. It's an actual cross light. It's crazy when you see it. And not only that, but because somebody said, oh, this is like something that a cell phone does. Well, we had taken it with our cameras because we had gone out, both of us, and bought like these Canon cameras from Best Buy, and so that's why we were doing the photo shoots. And we had taken the pictures from the camera and like uploaded it, and that we got it from our cell phones. It was like that on the camera. It wasn't like that on the cell phone. So it wasn't like a, you know. I do believe in that spirits can be caught on film. I do believe that. I know you guys are like, what? No, I do. I believe in all that stuff. You guys know I do. I'm trying to think of one kind of like conspiracy thing out there that I don't believe in. Let's see. Like, I don't really think that Bigfoot is what Bigfoot is. Like, I don't think like, hold on a second. Thank you. I just don't think that Bigfoot is like, I don't know, like this, you know, 1,000-year-old thing that's out there that we don't know what it is. I don't believe that. I don't know. Maybe it is partly that the story of Bigfoot is not real interesting to me. I would totally love to believe in mermaids, but I don't. Like, not at all. But I would love to believe in mermaids. I I do, though, believe in some kind of, like, sunken underwater city like Atlantis. Not that it exists now, but I think that it's sunken somewhere. I do believe in that. I very much believe, thank you, in UFOs. I think everybody knows that by now because I talk about it on here so much. In fact, there was just an article I was reading today about this Canadian telescope found these things like way off in space, which I think they found before, an Australian telescope. But I think we will have confirmation. Like, in my lifetime, I think we will definitely have, like, a meeting of ourselves and extraterrestrials. I do already believe that they've been here, and I do believe that we've had some contact with them, and I do believe that it's kind of kept secret by the government. And I, to be honest, would totally understand why. Like, I think there would be, like, you know, I mean, you think about all the people that are skeptical about it and kind of believe, but then think about all the people that don't believe. I think you also have to think about all the world religions and how it would totally disrupt that kind of idea, and we would have mass hysteria. So I totally understand to some degree why it is kept a secret, if it is. I've always kind of wondered, like, that book, like that movie, A National Treasure, it was called, with Nicolas Cage, where there's like that book or whatever that, like, only the president can read that has, like, all the secrets in it. I have kind of wondered if there's like if the president, like, gets briefed on, like, everything, like what the truth is behind the scenes, you know, or who that person is that gets to really know those things. I don't necessarily believe in the Illuminati, but I do believe that there is very much a meeting of power sources, like the power people in our world. I do believe that. And I don't think it's who people think it is. I don't think it's like Beyonce and Jay-Z. But I do think, like, politically, I do think there are meetings that occur that we don't know anything about, that happen, like, off the books, and, like, major decisions are made. What else do I believe in? I used to totally not believe, like, in, like, fairies and all that stuff. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? But I can't remember what movie I saw. It was, like, some documentary. And, I mean, I don't understand why, if they exist, they only exist in, like, Ireland. But, you know, there's always, like, questions to that. But, do you guys know the story of what I'm talking about? The guy that wrote the book, but then his, like, it was like his niece or something, and she was the one that supposedly saw all the fairies, but then she was faking it or something. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? It was really, really an interesting documentary. It started kind of making me question, though, the whole thing. I don't know. I like to believe in anything out there, you know? I totally believe in spirit, psychics, all that kind of stuff, mediums, but I think there's a lot of fakes out there. I think there's very few people that are, like, completely genuine, 100% honest. And I think they're just like this. They get it like that, you know? And I don't think most of them are practicing and making money off of it. I think a lot of them just have, you know, that, whatever. Of course, Loch Ness I believe in. I don't know why. I don't know why Loch Ness is something that I'm so intrigued by. It's like, you would think it's another one of those, like, Bigfoot things that I think is kind of boring, but it's not. I don't know. I think it's interesting. I like the movies about it and stuff. I think the world becomes very small when you kind of, you know, exclude the ideas of, like, magic, and I'm not saying you have to believe in craziness. I'm just saying, like, when you're a little bit open-minded to the what if of the world, I think it opens your world a little bit, you know? I don't really love to talk about, like, shadow people possession and all that kind of stuff. And in fact, I don't really love to watch those movies. Dark-sided gargoyles. Do you remember that woman from Life Swap? Oh my God. Dark-sided. I loved that one. I rebuke you in the name of the Lord. Dark-sided gargoyles. My friend and I, we used to laugh so hard at that back in the day. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up gargoyles. Wife swap. That's probably all you'll have to put. And it was this woman, and she switched houses with this woman that was like, she wasn't even like a witch. She just like was Wiccan, and she like, but anyway, she did like a tarot card reading on her kids or something. This woman ripped up the check and everything. It's so horrible. And don't come to me later and say that her daughter died. I know, I'm so sorry. I think it's so sad that that happened to her. The whole thing is so sad. It's so sad. But she ended up taking the check later, even though she ripped it up. I would too. But I don't really love to like read about that stuff, and I don't love to watch movies about it, and I don't like to think about shadow people, and every time that's a topic on Coast to Coast AM, I turn it off quickly. And I just don't like all of that kind of negative energy, psychic stuff. I don't like that. And I think, honestly, like, when you do play into that, I think, like, you kind of bring it on yourself a little bit. Like, I had a art teacher of mine back in the day. She was very hippy-dippy, but I loved her. And we used to, like, we would, like, I mean, she could have said anything, and we would have totally believed it. She came in, you know, with, like, just gas. She'd wear, like, those old, you know, those gowns back in the day. They always wore the Grateful Dead gowns. Like, what, I can't think those things are called. And tons of necklaces and jeans underneath her dresses, and, you know, all kinds of just bangles and shebangles on, and all kinds of stuff. Just a moving piece of performance art is what she was, basically, every day of, you know, coming into work. And we loved her. And I remember me and my two friends, we would just sit there and we would ask her all kinds of questions, and we would be like, well, her name was Suzanne, and I know that nobody knows who she is, because the last time I talked about her, I was like, if anybody knows who she is, tell her I said hi. But we'd be like, Suzanne, like, do you believe in the Ouija board? And she'd say, you don't ever do the Ouija board, okay? If spirits are going to come, spirits that come that are positive, have enough energy that they don't need to be invited. They can just come on their own. You don't ever want to conjure up spirits, is what she would say. And I remember her saying that. She knew, like, a lot about that stuff. And I always remembered her saying that, about how she didn't like to, like, or she didn't believe in, like, conjuring up or bringing up spirits. And that she would talk, she, like, referred to, like, the Ouija board as kind of like it was for spirits that couldn't really take the main highways, so they had to take, like, the cheaper roads kind of thing. And so you got, like, spirits that's intentions weren't pure through the Ouija board. I don't know, has anybody else heard that out there? I've heard that actually quite a bit of times since then. But so I don't love, like, the possession and all exorcisms. I don't love that stuff. My husband, he loves to watch those movies. I do not love to watch those movies. They make me feel kind of, I don't know, just kind of spooky inside. Like, I even want to watch Demon House, is that what it's called? Hell House or Demon House. The Zach Bagans documentary. Like, I found out how to watch it. And Alex has asked me twice, because I said we're going to watch this thing, and now twice he's asked me, when do you want to watch it? And I'm like, oh, we'll watch it this weekend. But at the same time, I'm kind of scared about watching it. And a bunch of you guys said in the comment sections that he, like, he still owns the property, but he, like, took down the house and he has the staircase to the basement or something in his museum in Las Vegas. But he believes the house is so possessed that he didn't even want it to still be standing. Like, I do believe in that kind of stuff, and I think it's very scary, so I don't mess with that. I don't believe in leprechauns, but that would be fun if they did, you know, exist. Santa Claus, I don't. I wish. Let's see what else. What else is there out there? Oh, it's gonna stop. Hold on. Okay. I'm trying to think of what other. I mean, mostly the thing I'm most interested in. I'm not even interested in, like, you know, like world event conspiracy thing. I'm not real interested in all that kind of stuff. I'm mostly interested in UFOs, I would say, and like psychic spirits and mediums. Like those are like the two things that like I spend a lot of my, that's like the areas that I'm the most interested in. I cannot believe I've had a cold this long. I seriously, like, and you know the thing, I was thinking about this the other night, was that I feel like a year ago I got sick for this long too. I should go back and look at some of my vlogs from back then, but I feel like a year ago I was just sick on my vlog, so who knows? I know how long I've been vlogging now. Well, you guys do because you're like watching it, don't you? So I vlogged. I don't know, 40, 50 minutes, something like that. I got talking for a long time about conspiracy theories. Are you guys interested in that kind of stuff? Is that interesting to you? See, that's where I used to love to like listen to Coast AM back in the day. I don't listen to it as much anymore. It should be coming on here in about 13 minutes, actually. In Indianapolis, if you ever want to listen to it, if you're in Indiana area, it is 93.1. It's the radio station that it's on. You should listen to it just once. It's very interesting. And it starts off, and I mean, sometimes they're really, really good. Other times they're totally boring, I'll be honest with you. Like, sometimes they're about like aliens and UFOs. Those are the ones I love. Sometimes they're about political conspiracies that I have like no interest in whatsoever. And I'm trying to think of an example of something that like that, like I would have no interest in whatsoever. It typically is something that I don't even know what they're talking about. Like, I don't know, files that like some government organization released on some topic that I didn't even know was closed to be. I mean, it's like, and they have like experts on there that's written like 3 books. Like, that stuff is not interesting to me. Now, some of the political, you know, it's like when they talk about like the Kennedy assassination and things like that, like those things are interesting to me. Partly because my mom was so interested in that stuff. I don't know, it's just kind of like probably part of why you guys like listening to vlogs is why I listen to radio shows. I mean, they're just soothing to me. Like, even if the voices aren't soothing, it's just, I don't know, it's kind of like just fun to listen to. And then when they do like the wild card line, that's like my favorite, right? And you can ask like the experts that are there questions, but a lot of times they won't. And I always kind of use the same example, but like when you're listening to it, he'll be like wild card line, Oklahoma City, how are you doing tonight? Or they'll be like, Judy, you're from Oklahoma City, how are you doing tonight? She'll be like, well, let me tell you, I've been trying to get through to Coast AM. I just love your show so much. I've been trying to get through to Coast AM now, going on about 7 years. And, you know, now I work at the Speedway up the street, and I work the second shift, which means I come home about 1 o'clock in the morning, and my husband, Bud, he and his brother, Earl, they always are, you know, sitting in the living room that they like to tape the old, baseball games, and they like to watch those. But so anyway, then I come home, and I get me a beer and make me a bologna sandwich, and I go sit in the back patio, and I call my good friend, Erlene, and I was talking to her the other day, and I said, no, you guys, it is like this, you know. I was talking to Erlene, and all of a sudden I saw this saucer just land right in the cornfield, right out behind our house. And I looked up, I said, Erlene, I said, there is a saucer behind our house. And she said, a saucer? Coffee saucer? And I said, no. And then this alien, he was about 7, 8 feet tall, he came out, and he had a cowboy hat, and he said, howdy, Judy, how are you doing? And I never in a million years would have believed it. Can you believe that? Well, Judy, tell us a little bit more. Well, then Earl, he come out with Bud, and they said howdy to the alien, and you know, we invited him in for a dinner, and we all had us some dreamsicles, and you know, for dessert, and it was just the nicest thing. I didn't think, I mean, you guys, it is whack town, okay? Like, it is crazy what people call in. But then you get like the real normal people that call in and ask like legit questions, but some of it is absolutely hilarious. I love it. You know that there's like basically, okay, there's basically 4 topics, okay, on talk radio. This is it. Well, I guess there's like a 5th one. But the 5th one is a paid advertising, and it's always some crap that should be in the back of a magazine. It's not even like QVC, okay, or as seen on TV. It's like some, you know, like Garcinia Rosta Kombucha something, and the presidents have been taking it for years, you know, and it's always like that. It's like $79.95, and you know, it's like some ridiculous stuff. But the different categories are politics, religion, sports, and conspiracies. That is what talk radio is about, okay? It's always that. Politics, religion, sports, or conspiracies. So you kind of have to like weed your way through what you're listening to, because it's either like, and I'm not talking just about like, you know, kind of run-of-the-mill, like, let's have a conversation about spirituality. I mean, like, you know, boiling in hell, fires, and damnation kind of religious talk. And the political stuff is always, like, one side or the other. You know, it's worse than the Facebook. And then, the sports stuff is basically like just recaps of everything that's happened. And then the conspiracy ones, well, Coast to Coast AM, but there's not a whole lot of other ones I know. But now, you know, we have podcasts, and everybody's so interested in the podcast. I love the podcast too. Thing is, I find a podcast, and then like I'll listen to it on YouTube or something, and then I forget to go download it on my phone. If you guys listen to podcasts, especially podcasts about true crime, or all that kind of stuff, oh my god, my nose, you guys are driving me crazy. Will you let me know what they are in the comment section below? I already listened to My Favorite Murder. I haven't listened to it in a long time, but I need to catch up on them. And I used to listen to Psychobabble with Tyler Oakley, but I don't think it exists anymore. I really want to start a podcast this year. I don't know really what I would do it about, but Tyler Oakley was really good with Corey Cool, which is like his best friend. This guy is so cute. But they didn't really have, like, they would kind of just it was a half an hour. It was really well done. They would just kind of like talk about random stuff. I kind of like those kinds, you know. And then I'm trying to think of another one that I used to listen to. The Show with Sam and Joe, with Joseph Birdsong. Do you guys remember Joseph Birdsong back in the day? He used to be on YouTube. I don't think he's on YouTube anymore. He might still have a gaming channel. I don't know. It's always interesting to me, these people that, like, had such a presence on YouTube and one day they just walk away. You know, it's like, we take this stuff so seriously sometimes, and it's like, you know, somebody could just go tomorrow. Like these people that we get like so ate up with, they could just be gone tomorrow. It's happened to so many people that I've watched, that one second they're like, you know, on YouTube posting all the time, and then they're just like gone. And no explanation about it either. Like, that's what's always so interesting to me. Anyway. I slept so good last night, and I woke up this morning. Do you ever like wake up and you still have like 3 hours to sleep? Oh my god, is that not such a fantastic thing? And you go downstairs and you like get some water. I got like a cold glass of water. Oh my god, I just chucked it all the way down. I took the pups out, and then we came back upstairs and we got back in bed, and we had like 2.5, 3 hours still to sleep. It was so fantastic. And they all curled around me. It was so nice. So, that's what we're going to do tomorrow, too. They don't know it yet, but we're going to have a little sleep-in the morning. Well, I always kind of like get up when Alex is leaving and I say goodbye to him. That's kind of what happened today. Because today he had to leave earlier than he usually does. Or he had to leave later than he usually does. And, I mean, not by much, but like by an hour or hour and a half. And so, I was talking to him when he was leaving this morning. And then when he left, I like took the dogs out, got a glass of water. Ouch! There it happened. I was trying to make it through the rest of the video without falling. All right, well, listen, you guys. I'm almost at the casino where I'm going to go in and say hello to my friend Valerie for a little bit. And then that was kind of fun talking about the conspiracy stuff. If you like that, let me know. We'll talk more about it again on here. Or ask me specific questions about specific conspiracies, and I'll talk about them on here. We can have a little Coast to Coast AM episode. Anyway, I hope you guys, this week is kind of going real slow, isn't it? It's interesting, right after the holidays, but I hope you guys are having, it's been a good week though. It's been calm, relaxing. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Thursday. If you live near Whole Foods, I would highly recommend the wild mushroom. It was delicious, with the cornbread, of course. And it was probably the best meal I've had in a long time. Anyway, and well worth every expensive cent that I spent at Whole Foods. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Thursday. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.